A woman who had run into the restaurant hit her husband and then her mistress, so that the two fell under the tables. At the same time, the police rushed into the restaurant. Andre walked leisurely through the evening city after the end of the working day. Autumn could already be felt in the air, although the cold had not yet set in. Low clouds hung over the city, but the rain had not started. Looking at his watch, Andre thought that his wife should have finished work now and was on her way to the kindergarten to pick up her daughter. Although picking up his daughter from daycare was usually his responsibility, it was already dark outside. Storefronts and cafes lit up the street, and because of their bright lights, the cafes and stores were clearly visible from outside, but from inside it was hard to see what was going on outside. Passing one of the cafes, Andre looked through the window and could not believe his eyes. His wife Katia was sitting at the table, and opposite her, some man who was pouring wine for her and himself. There was a light appetizer on the table, and the waitress brought a hot dish, which indicated that they had been sitting for a long time. Andre dialed his wife's number and saw her glance at the screen, say something to the man and, turning away to the window, answered. "Hello, Andriasha. How good that you called. We have here an urgent report demanded, so I'll be late at work. You could not pick up today Tanya from kindergarten? And what is the urgency?" Andre asked. "It's a report on the effectiveness of the introduction of new techniques and technologies of work organization, rationalization proposals, and inventions. Does that mean anything to you?" "No, you're an economist. And by the way, what should I feed Tanya?" He deliberately asked this question, knowing that it would be followed by a detailed instruction on where the food was, how it should be heated, how much to put to his daughter, and that before starting to feed not to forget to wash his hands and make sure that Tanya also did it. The instruction usually took about 40 seconds. During this time Andre, without distraction, walked to the cafe, came to their table under the surprised look of the man, took his wife's glass and poured its contents on the stranger's head. The red wine spread over the man's snow-white shirt, staining it bright red. The man jumped up with the words, "What do you think you're doing?" Katia turned to the table and saw her husband, who calmly put the glass on the table and asked, "So what's up with the report on the efficiency of the introduction of new techniques and technologies?" "Andre, you misunderstood everything. I will explain everything to you." "My God, what have you done?" "Alexander Ivanovich, this must be laundered immediately. Let's go to the wash basin." She grabbed the man by the arm and led him to a corner of the cafe, where customers could wash their hands. Andrew, left alone, saw a cell phone on the table that clearly did not belong to his wife. He picked it up and the phone quickly activated. Andre looked at the list of recent calls and saw the contact wife. He pressed the call and was immediately answered with a question. "You told me you'd be late at work. I came in and you weren't here. Where have you been?" "Your husband and my wife are in the cafe across from the office. He's in the wash basin right now washing his shirt and probably washing his head from the red wine I poured on him." "And who is this?" "I'm the husband of the chief economist of the company where I understand your husband works. I caught them in this cafe, at which time they also told me that a report had to be made urgently, and so my wife would be late for work." "I see. I'm already approaching this cafe." Andre, noticing how a woman with a phone in her hand entered the cafe, quickly moved to the service door leading to the kitchen. The visitors of the cafe watched with surprise, but did not interfere. At that moment a scene took place. Alexander Ivanovich was confronted by a woman who, without warning, hit him in the jaw with her fist. From the blow he collapsed to the floor. Katia cried out, "Oh, what are you doing?" She too was hit in the eye area and fell down in the aisle between the tables. At that moment the police burst into the cafe. The bartender probably called the police, anticipating a scandal, when he saw Andre pouring wine on a customer. Andre quickly assessed the situation and slipped to the service exit. The waitress gestured to the door leading to the street. He went outside, walked quickly to the kindergarten, picked up his daughter and caught a cab, heading to Vika's sister's house. Vika lived alone in her parents' house. Andre gave up his share of the inheritance in her favor. Katia was dissatisfied with this decision, but did not argue with her husband. Since then, she has not maintained relations with Vika. When Vika saw her brother with her daughter on the doorstep, she rejoiced. In the house there was a room for Tanechka, full of toys and dolls. The girl happily ran to her room. Andrew went into the kitchen and told his sister about what had happened. Vika listened carefully and asked, "Andre, how can I help? Take me and Tanya in for the first time. I'll find a place to live, and we'll move out." "What are you talking about? It's your house too. It's big enough for everyone, and I'll have more fun. You want to have dinner?" "No thanks. But feed Tanya." "I will. I'll make her some semolina. Do you need help?" "No thanks. Go play with Tanya. but don't wreck the room. Half an hour passed. Vika called them to dinner. Andre refused to eat, drank only tea with linden honey, waited until Tanya had eaten and said, I'll go put my daughter to bed. Andrew, you need to rest. I can see that you're exhausted. Go to bed. We'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. You can sleep. Andre woke up early from the insistent ringing of the phone, which was lying in his jacket on the chair. Finding the phone, he answered it. I'm listening. I haven't talked to you yet. There weren't enough police. Who is this? And with whom have you not spoken? Who's speaking? Andre wiped his eyes and looked at the display. It wasn't his phone. He realized that he had accidentally taken the phone of the woman he had talked to yesterday in the cafe. Excuse me, I think I accidentally took your phone when I left the cafe. So you're Catherine's husband? Yes, I am. You should have come with us to the police. It was fun. Katia threw a tantrum when she realized what her actions looked like from the outside. Before that, she didn't seem to realize that cheating on her husband was wrong. Well, she didn't have time to cheat, and as I understand it, she wasn't going to. My husband is under control all the time. They did have a busy week, but they turned in their last report on Thursday. I must say, your wife is good at this. She has a trusting relationship with my husband, who I appointed CEO. And I take it you're the founder? No, the founder is my mom. She's 65 years old and she's in no hurry to retire. My husband used to work in the civil service. He had a secretary there, and he had an affair with her. When it came out, I warned him. And after he got out of the hospital, I got him the job. So you're not the founder, but you handle everything? I run it from home. My husband doesn't realize I can see what computers are running, who's doing what in the office. I have a tracking program on my phone. I'd find him in that cafe in 5 minutes. But that's not the point. After a productive week, my husband decided to take your wife to the cafe. She thought it was just a friendly invitation. Mine got excited and forgot all about control. What are you going to do with him now? I'm going to fire him from his job and send him out of town. Monday, I'll file for divorce and send him home. That won't work on Monday. The registry office is closed. Tuesday then, and with my wife? Is she wondering where I am? I don't know. I'm not home at all. I took my daughter and left. I can see why she was screaming like that. She realized she was losing both her husband and her daughter. Why the hell did she take him to the sink? She should have been at your feet, apologizing. But by my calculations, she should be home right now. After the scandal in the cafe, organized by her husband, Katia, together with Alexander Ivanovich and his wife, Larissa Fyodorovna, was taken to the police station. The proceedings proceeded slowly. After making sure that the women had no claims against each other, they were put in the same cell, where they even became friends. Larissa, having heard Katia's story about how they ended up in the cafe, realized that it was her husband's idea. Okay, I'm sorry I hit you. You'll get a bruise, you can make it up. But it's a lesson to you not to go to cafes with strange men. My husband will touch up the other side, Katia thought while they were sitting in the cell. The police went to Katia's place of residence several times, trying to find her husband, but they never found him at home. In the end, having sorted out the situation, they began to release them one by one. Despite the obvious hooliganism, everything went quietly. The interrogator said, if you have family problems, sort it out at home, not in public places. Larissa, having heard from Katia about what had happened, remarked, at home I will definitely talk to my husband. He should not allow himself such a panicky attitude with his subordinates. And I understand your husband. If I were him, I would knock a bottle of wine on the head, but I only lightly hurried him up. My karate coach always said, Larissa, if you need to punish someone, a light blow with the palm of your hand is enough. Katia looked at this fragile woman and could not imagine that she was capable of more than that, because Larissa had really only hit her with the palm of her hand. The police, trying to avoid conflict, let Alexander go first. He quickly walked away, leaving an admonishment from Larissa. Go home, honey. I'll be there soon, and we'll discuss everything. Katia returned home from the police around 3 in the morning. The apartment was dark and quiet. As she entered, she noticed the absence of her husband and daughter's belongings. They had probably stayed the night with her husband's sister, Vika. Katia wasn't close to Vika and doubted whether she should call her now or wait until morning. In the end, she decided to call in the morning. Walking to the bathroom, Katia looked in the mirror and realized why the police were looking at her like that. The bruise was pronounced and couldn't be hidden. She scolded herself for her stupid act. She knew he was married and behaving indecently, but she followed him anyway. The girls in the accounting department had warned her. Now they had to try to save the marriage, if it was still possible. Vicky's help was not to be counted on. She still loved her husband and didn't want to leave him, but she couldn't let him take her daughter. She washed, cried, and went to bed. The morning brought nothing new. Andrei's phone remained unanswered. After thinking for a while, she resolutely dialed Vika's number. Vika answered. Good morning, Vika. How are you? You mean Tanya and Andrei? Yes, Vika, that's exactly what I mean. Everything's fine. Andrei's still asleep, and I'm making breakfast for Tanya. Tell me what you did yesterday. Andrei misunderstood, but it was my fault too. I should have told him that the director and I celebrated the report in the cafe. I lied about being at work. Then the CEO's wife came in, and we both got it. Then the police. Now I have a black eye that's hard to hide. Vika, ask Andrei to call me back when he wakes up. I want to apologize to my daughter, too. Thank you. After talking to Larissa, Andrei got dressed and went to the kitchen, where Vika and his daughter were making pancakes. Vika was baking, and Tanya, with her nose covered with sour cream, was enjoying her breakfast. Seeing Andrei, Vika said, Sit down at the table next to Tanya. Eat your pancakes while they're hot. By the way, Katia called, asking you to call her back. What else did she want? She cried and apologized. What was she thinking when she lied to me about the report? Crying. And when she was sitting with that man, she was smiling. If there's something she doesn't like about our relationship, let her say it. I'm not a monster. What have you decided? I haven't decided yet. If you don't mind, we'll stay at your place. We'll see what happens. That doesn't seem right. Tatiana's not just your daughter. If we divorce, she'll stay with her mother. Divorce is out of the question, but Katia won't be running around in cafes with men, even if they're your bosses. With a college degree, she should understand what a family is. Andrei, do as you see fit. But Katia must hear your decision. Andrei had breakfast of pancakes, then went to his room and called Katia. She answered almost immediately. Andrei, I'm sorry for what I did yesterday. I should have declined that invitation to the cafe, but instead I accepted it and started deceiving you, saying I was still at work. You seem to have come to your senses during the night. Come to your sisters, and we'll talk about it. Andrei, I can't. I've got a bruise halfway down my face, and there's nothing I can do to cover it up. Suit yourself. Okay, I'll be there. No, not today and not tomorrow. I'm not ready to see you right now. But, Andrei, I want to see Tanya. And scare her with your bruise? Did you do that on purpose? Are you trying to make fun of me? Look, I haven't decided what to do yet. You were on the verge of cheating, and only an accident prevented it. Emotionally, you were already cheating as soon as you accepted the invitation. And you ran to wash your boyfriend's shirt. You forgot all about me. All right, let's make a deal till Tuesday, decide what to do next. But Tanya needs clean clothes for kindergarten. I'll bring them. Bring them, but there'll be no talking. On Monday, Katia got up early and decided to go to work to take some time off. She tried to disguise the bruise with foundation and, covering her face, came into the office, slipped quietly into her office. As the working day began, her secretary called her and asked, Valyusha, is Alexander Ivanovich in? Oh, Katia, how good of you to call. Run quickly to the director's office. Who's there? No one, just Larissa Fyodorovna. Katia went into the principal's office. There was really no one there, except Larissa Fyodorovna, who was looking at the documents on the desk. Katia lowered her head and said hello. Hello, Larissa Fyodorovna. Why are you so formal? We were in the same monkey house, and why did you cover your face like that? I tried to look beautiful, but you hid everything under a layer of makeup. Okay, sit down. Look at the figures in your report and explain where the profit is gone. Katia looked at the papers and said, These figures shouldn't have been in the report, and the sheet seems to have been replaced. Look for yourself. My signature is missing. I signed every sheet. Where's the money? I don't know. I can only count the amount. Only the chief accountant knows about the money. Valya, call Tatyana Nikolaevna, the chief accountant. 5 minutes later, Tatyana Nikolaevna came into the office, ready for the meeting. Tatyana Nikolaevna, can you explain where this amount has gone from the company's accounts? Larissa Fyodorovna showed the chief accountant the figures on the documents. Tatyana Nikolaevna replied, Excuse me, but who are you? I am the wife of the general director and the daughter of the company's founder. I am acting on the basis of a power of attorney from my mother, who authorized me to solve all issues within her competence, including your work. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Now you do. Would you like me to schedule an audit? Oh, no, 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 no. I was just checking. As for this money, it was supposed to be transferred today to the destination specified by your husband Alexander Ivanovich. I see. So, don't transfer the money and find out where it came from. But only Alexander Ivanovich knows that. The money came to us, and the payment order must contain all the details. It's all clear. Go find out. And know that as of today, Alexander Ivanovich no longer works here. Ekaterina has been appointed acting CEO. The secretary is already drawing up the order. Understood? Yes, understood. Katya, you should stop practicing karate. I need your skills. Take this office. You have a lot of work to do. Valya, call the deputy general director and the chief engineer to me. 5 minutes later, Vladislav Petrovich and Vladimir Antonovich were sitting in the office, studying Larissa Fyodorovna and Ekaterina. Larissa Fyodorovna, pointing to the report, asked, "Now, which of you can explain this sum? Where did it come from, and where was it supposed to go?" It was Alexander Ivanovich's idea. The sum came out of thin air. One archive, funded from the budget, allocated money for major repairs. But it was not utilized. We drew up certificates of completed work, and the money was transferred to us, although it should have gone to a firm created by Alexander Ivanovich as a subcontractor. There he cashed in the money and promised to pay us a bonus, of course, past the cash register. So you were trying to cheat? No, of course not. We just planned to keep the money for ourselves? Larissa Fyodorovna, that's not the point. Who signed the certificates? A representative of the subcontractor signed them. Who exactly? I don't know. I didn't see him. I only talked to Alexander Ivanovich at the contracting stage. Katya, we have 2 key vacancies at the moment. Deputy General Director and Chief Engineer. You need to start looking immediately. Don't rely on those 2. I'll return the money to the budget, but I'll hand over the materials to the investigating authorities. But we'll go to jail. I don't care what happens to you. If I hadn't discovered it, my mother and I would have gone to jail. You're free to go. Vladimir Antonovich and Vladislav Petrovich, lowering their heads, left the office. As soon as they left, Larissa Fyodorovna turned to Katya. Did you understand why he dragged you to the cafe? Not exactly. First he wanted to put you to bed, and then to make you cover up his financial frauds. I think the chief accountant knew about it too. You had to keep quiet about the accounts, and she had to get the money out and keep the books clean. Now that money will show up as surplus, which is bad for the company and the accounting department. Yes, such surpluses and losses are bad. I'll handle the accounting. You deal with your new role and your contract. Basically, get to work. Yeah, but I haven't been given a contract yet, and it's all so sudden. And I have to deal with my husband. What about your husband? He won't come home, even though I told him the truth. He's a good man. Give me his number. I'll call him myself. Katya gave Larissa her husband's number. Larissa dialed the number and Andrei answered. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. Why did you decide to divorce your wife? Larissa? How did you get my number? I'm the founder of the firm. So answer the question. About Katya? I don't know. Honestly, I've been going through a lot since yesterday. She wasn't planning anything. How would I know? Why did you have to lie? He needed Katya to cover up his financial schemes at the office. So you interfered. So if I hadn't interfered, she would still be covering for him? Not exactly. I didn't come to the office yesterday just to catch him with someone. I saw that the accounting numbers didn't add up. So I came in to talk, only I was late. They'd already left for the cafe. Katya showed me the report today. She said it was the first time she'd seen it. It's not signed and the sheets have been replaced. I made her CEO. Call her, make up with her. CEO? Then you might want to think about coming back at all. I'm not her equal. Don't be silly. I'm not saying anything stupid. I can see that. Don't be offended. Just talk to your wife. I don't think the bond between people should be broken by misunderstandings. How did you get your husband back? I didn't kick him out. He disappeared after he was released from the police. I'm waiting for him. How can he think of cheating if he just decided to steal from me and run away? He's cheated before, then he went to rehab. I was wondering where? Surgery. I thought I'd completely cured him. Looks like it's not his first mistake. Is there anything you want to say? I'm sorry, but I don't have time for a conversation right now. Okay, let's meet tonight and talk. Where and when? At the cafe where we hung out on Friday. Can I not thank the waitress? I have a daughter. How old is she? She'll be 5 soon. So she's old enough to go to the cafe? Yes, but I'll come with her. I said no talking until Tuesday. I'm not ready. So you'll see her tomorrow? Unless there are other plans. It's a deal. I'll meet you at the coffee shop after work. You're like the world's middleman. I'm more than a world mediator. The next day Andrei met Vika at the kindergarten, handed her the child and said, Vika, I'm sorry to bother you, but I can't take Tanya to the cafe. Suddenly there will be a scandal. What do you want? Now I don't know what to do. When Katya was just an economist, I could somehow put up with it and was ready to forgive her. But now she's a CEO. CEO at work, but at home she's your wife. She has a whole different social circle now. Don't tease me. You also have a college degree that you're hiding, right? Yes, I have a higher salary, but less responsibility. The pay used to be higher. Now the importance of engineers has been realized. You just need to get your degree. Okay, I'll look after Tanya, prepare her for the garden for tomorrow, and you go and forgive your wife. Andre came to the cafe half an hour early, ordered 200 grams of cognac and an appetizer. The waitress recognized him and quietly asked him, "You are not planning to make a scandal today?" "No, sort of. Although the evening is just beginning. Thanks for your help." At the appointed time, Katia and Larissa entered the cafe. After looking around the place, they approached the table where Andre was sitting. Katia asked, "Where is Tanya? Do you think I will bring her to the showdown? I wanted to see her. I missed my daughter. Unfortunately, I sent her home. I took care of the baby, and I wanted to talk to you." Larissa intervened. "Stop it. Why did you come here? To make a scandal? Katia, tell me what happened." After I finished the report, Alexander Ivanovich took it away and suggested that I go to the cafe across from the office. Since I was working without lunch, I agreed. We had a glass of wine each, but the hot food didn't arrive for a long time, and I had to go. Then you called and I decided to ask you to pick up my daughter, wait for the hot meal and eat. When I turned around, I saw you pouring wine for Alexander Ivanovich from my glass. I realized what I did was wrong, and I was confused, especially after I ran into Larissa and got hit by her. That's right. I didn't hit you because you were with that man, but because I saw the report as a hoax. I thought you were celebrating a successful scam with the firm's money. At night, I double-checked the report and found that 2 sheets had been changed after completion. I even pulled those sheets out of the trash can in the CEO's office. He didn't even bother to destroy them. What do you say? What do I say? On my way home, I saw my wife drinking wine at a cafe. I called her, found out the report wasn't ready yet. What was I supposed to do? We looked into it and realized there was no cheating. There was only deception. If Katia had told the truth, nothing would have happened. At least I would still have attacked Alexander. And you probably would have gotten some. So you can do anything, but I can't. I said that if Katia hadn't cheated, it would have been different. But your actions are quite logical. But it wasn't what it looked like. It wasn't cheating, it was a deliberate lie. How am I supposed to trust her now that she's CEO? It involves traveling, meeting all kinds of people. I don't need that. I need my wife at home. Andre, I understand your concerns, but all these seminars and trainings take place in our city. You don't have to go anywhere. Suppliers and clients will come to us themselves. Katia loves you, and I don't think that after all this she will cheat and deceive. I have one more suggestion. What is it? Accept Larissa Fyodorovna's offer to work for us as Deputy General Director or Chief Engineer. What about relatives? The Labor Code does not prohibit the joint work of relatives in commercial organizations, even when one subordinates the other. Only state and municipal employees are prohibited. How do you know I can work as a chief engineer? Even Katia doesn't know that. I did some research. You worked as deputy chief engineer at a large enterprise. There was an accident that killed people, and you were to blame. You were being groomed to be chief engineer, but you were forced to leave because of the threat of imprisonment. As a result, you were banned from management for 5 years. That's long gone. There were no culprits, just wear and tear on the equipment that required production to be stopped. The chief engineer was hospitalized with a heart attack, and I took over until the accident. Why didn't you tell me about it? Why didn't you? I'm not proud of it, and you had enough to worry about. I didn't understand how you knew so much about manufacturing. But that's not all I'm saying. What else? I apologize for the deception. I won't let it happen again. I'm asking you to come home. If you accept Larissa Fyodorovna's offer, I'd be happy to work with you. If that requires me to leave my job, I'm willing to do it. No, I don't need that kind of sacrifice. I don't have anyone at the company. So, Andre, accept the offer. Quit your old job and take any of the positions offered. Katia, don't think about quitting. It's like you owe me. For what? Who stole my husband from me and drank with him in a cafe? Larissa, but he invited me. I don't know, but that's why I'm divorcing my husband. You're divorcing him because he tried to steal from you? That too. In the end, Andre returned home to Katia with his daughter. He did start working as a chief engineer. Under the terms of the contract, Andre reported to the founder. Katia remained the general director and no longer allowed any lies in their relationship. Larissa Fyodorovna, with great difficulty, and with the help of her brother, managed to find Alexander Ivanovich and bring the case to the registry office to file a petition for dissolution of marriage. After that, Alexander Ivanovich disappeared again, leaving no trace. I want to apologize immediately for possible errors in the text or dubbing. I am just learning, and the language of this channel is not my native language. The dubbing is done with the help of artificial intelligence. Please point out errors so I can fix them and improve the quality of the content. Also, I will be glad if you share your thoughts on the topic. Your support in the comments is very motivating for me to keep looking for new, interesting stories. Thank you for your understanding and participation. Subscribe to the channel and put a bell to not miss new stories.